Welcome to another episode of Davinci Resolve Tips and Tricks. Today we will be looking at keying and how fast and accurate it is just using the color page. I'll show you two examples with different difficulty levels. So, as seen during the intro, we will start working on this stock footage. The difficulty of this shot is the fast movement and the motion blur that's usually harder to key out. To start with, I'm going to choose a frame where we have a sharp part of the image and a blurry one so I can assess the best key for this shot. Here I have the waveform open. You can see by the flat line that this footage was very well captured under very good circumstances, and the green is as even as it gets. I may add that maybe the green is too bright in this case. It's usually recommended to expose a green screen at 50% IRE when shooting on Rec 709. In this case, it was exposed at 62.5%, but it's not a biggie. We can easily work with this shot. Skin should be exposed at around 70% IRE. In this case, it's a bit under, but as I said before, we can work around this not being 100% perfection. So we're going to be using the 3D qualifier. We could use a different type of qualifier, but you'll see in the next example why this one is so good at doing what it does, which is not only grabbing one value, but by drawing around the subject, you can get different values in just one stroke. In this particular example, the green screen is super solid, so there aren't many different values, if any. Once the key is selected, we can press Shift plus H or the highlight tool up here to see the mask, and then down here to invert the selection. Now we need to start working on this mask and the edges. I'm not going to go step by step, but this is the panel you'll have to use to refine the mask and get it exactly where you want it. At this stage, I think we're ready to add the footage we think it's going to work behind and then start tweaking accordingly. Back in the edit page, we add a background I selected before, but as you can see, nothing happens. We would need to go back to the color page, right-click anywhere in the node section, add alpha output, and this will be added in blue on the right-hand side. Just connect the output of the clip with the alpha output and you'll see your background straight away. So, the alpha will send out the mask information, and the following nodes you decide to add for grading effects, etc. will carry the information through the source output. In this example, I'm just adding a tad more contrast to match the background. Now, back on the edit page, I'm going to add a third background that I've keyed before. At this point, it's worth mentioning that these three layers are 4K, and as you see, without any rendering, it's playing back in real time. Impressive, isn't it? I know if you try to do this with a very powerful and resource-hungry key light in After Effects, most probably you won't be able to play any clip in real time without rendering. And it's not that I have the best computer ever. This is a 5K iMac from 2019. Top of the range when it came out, but still a 3.5 years old computer playing back as smooth as cutting through butter. I will now quickly add a look at LUT to give the same vibe to all three clips, and even that is still playing back smoothly. So, go Davinci. Now you could leave it there and it looks okay, but I can't help but seeing the amount of motion blur of this clip and how that edge becomes annoying. So a quick fix is using a matte choker. I will add a node, in this case in between the key and the grade, making sure to connect the alpha out throughout. Then go to Effects, type Matte, and apply this effect to manipulate the mask a bit further. I'm not going to go through all the options, but in this example I want to shrink the mask a tad further. So we select Shrink and add the desired radius amount. I'm going to zoom into the image so you can see the effect working as I increase the radius. This is before and after, so you can clearly see what it does. The edges are a bit sharper and without as much motion blur as before. Moving on to the next example very quickly, I have already keyed this for speed, and here are different backdrops applied. Look how nice the hair detail is coming out. I'll talk you through what I did here. This clip was shot in S-Log 3, so before doing anything else, this clip should be converted to Rec 709, and I did some primary adjustment before this node. Then I did the keying and some further color, skin and luminance adjustments to it. Now, this is where the 3D qualifier excels. As you can see by this clip, the green screen wasn't perfectly lit. So it's not completely even. You can see that towards the edges of the green screen there are dark values. But this is again not a problem for Davinci when using the 3D qualifier. Okay, so here's a bonus tip. I already keyed this for speed. You can see that the green is not perfect like the examples before, but it doesn't seem that it's, well lit, or there's some creases here and here, very obvious. And very obvious, the light is on the left, and towards the right of the frame, it goes way darker. Not a problem for Davinci with the 3D qualifier, because it gets all those values. I don't know if you noticed something here that I haven't explained before, which is, what if the character, what if in this case the parrot, our talent, is wearing green? So see what happens. Obviously these are green values, different value, still green. So although it's not making it translucent, and I haven't even only used the spill, I didn't like finesse it yet, but there's no way I can bring this back. But there's a quick fix for this that is very simple. I was trying to fix the problem, and my first thinking was, okay, what if I add a node afterwards? But obviously, if it goes from here to here to here I'm receiving already the key. Let me do an overall fix. Yeah, I'm receiving the whole key thing. So there's although I can use this for grading just the parrot, maybe give a bit more contrast, just bring the highlights just a tad less, so to balance it a bit more. But I'm not bringing this information from here, which is the green. So yeah, I was moving the alpha, but then I realized, okay, what if we add a new source? The source is the same. The source is a clip, but I'm just going on a different tangent, right? So I'll add a corrector, connect it, and straight away I have the parrot. I have the parrot just like here, the original parrot. And what if I send this straight to, on the alpha with sending the key, so deleting or erasing everything that's around the parrot? And why don't we send this as the source out? Boom, voila. Obviously I'm bypassing this, but if I still want that look, then I disable that and bring this grade here. And then we have this source that goes straight into the output, that is just for all the grades. So from here, just as if you were to grade normally, you can create any sort of nodes, and they will only apply, in this case, to the parrot. And this is just the alpha. This is just the backdrop. This is just the key, so to speak. Let's name it key. So backdrop, foreground. It's amazing, isn't it? I'll play it back. It plays in real time, and it's all, it's all looking very dapper, very good. So this is a really quick fix. I'm pre-logic now. So we're feeding two different sources, one for the key and one for the foreground, so to speak. And yeah, this is great. I just salvaged the shoot, and I didn't do any masking or anything, just like that. And that's it. A very quick and easy keying solution within Davinci Resolve. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time.